Hello, Stampin' Buddies. It's late night Lori, or wee hours in the morning Lori, coming to you from Lori's Little Bit of Crafting. Technically, it's Sunday morning, February 2nd, but I kind of started looking at stuff before midnight on February 1st, so it is what it is, right? I'm a night owl, what can I say? So, since I did not put all my things away from my last video where I did this card, using Twisted in Time, the stamps, and then this little fence I did with these mixed labels dies, I figured I would use these things again. You know, since they're out, why not, right? So I did kind of a bluish version and the pecan pie version. So let me know what you think of those. But we're going to do a little twist, if you will, on this card. I'm going to change it up just a little bit. You can see some little pieces here. These are going to become branches on the trees, and those are coming from these dies here. All right, so 1, 2, I guess I only did one of those, either that or I lost it somewhere, but it doesn't matter. I don't think it's going to show anywhere. All right, and so those are going to be branches on the trees. And I think what I'm going to do is use the sentiment, thank you for the little things. Thank you for the little things. So we'll pull this out of here. And I might need to find my Lost Lagoon ink. We'll see what I need. We'll see how it goes. Move some of these things out of the way. And don't want to lose my stamp, so let's put that on a block right away. All right, so I'm doing more of the tree building with the dies this time instead of just the stamp. So I used the photopolymer stamps yesterday. It was a 2-step stamping process. So the tree itself was a single stamp, but then there's the background stamp for the branches or the tree foliage, and then the stamped detail of the leaves on that tree. Today I'm going to try it. We're just going to see how it looks. I have a base, a card base that's Old Olive, one of my favorite colors. And then I used the die, find it here, this die. I have really no idea what the concept artist intended for that. I haven't looked at this set, and their sample that they showed in the gallery doesn't have this piece in there. So I really didn't have anything to work off of. So I thought I would use it to try to create just like an inset piece with a border. So we'll see what it looks like. But I'm going to keep these pieces too because they might make a nice something on a card, you know, kind of like an edging or framing or something. So I'll hang on to those for a little bit until I can't figure out what to use with them. So I used the banner that comes with the dies for this set, and I actually cut it out of 2 pieces. So this is Early Espresso, and this is Soft Seafoam. And I am just going to layer these so that there's like a shadow banner. All right, you can probably see it better there, huh? Like a shadow banner. So let me see if I have my Lost Lagoon ink out here, and I don't. So bear with me. Oh, it wasn't far. Big surprise that I didn't have everything out, right? Luckily, it's usually within a few feet. All right. So what I have found with this stamp set is even if I wash the dies, I'm not always getting a clear image. So what I like to do, not that one, this one. What I like to do is I take my Versamark and I just stamp on the photopolymer stamp. Now you can let it sit and dry for a while, or you can use it right away. And I'm just going to use it right away. I am going to pull in my Pearson mat though. Since it's photopolymer, it's sometimes better if you have that firm but soft surface underneath. So let's see how this looks. And if it's not quite straight, it's because I can't look directly over my stamp. And that's pretty good, but I'm going to have to redo that because I'm not happy with how that's stamped. So I'll scrub this a little bit more. Sometimes it helps if you use something that's mildly abrasive, like an emery board. Some people have like ceramic ones or something. I don't know. But for purposes of right now, we're just going to roll with this. I just don't like how blotchy that is, and it could be this has too much ink. Sometimes that is a problem. Let me try something once. So if I push some of the ink away from here and try it again, look at that. That's all I needed. There was a little too much ink, so that's why it gets a little juicy. And if there's a lot of ink on here, it's going to soak into your paper. So I will redo this, and I will remember that I need to use the not so inky part of my stamp pad. All right, so that's little like tonight's tip for you. Okay. I'm going to try with this Timeless Plaid paper. This is in the mini catalog, or this Beautiful Bokeh, which is on a new paper. I just got it 2 days ago now, I think. But you can see this is a bokeh design, and it comes with these different variety of colors. And then the back sides are basically just an abstract kind of design, splattery kind of looking, in the various colors as well. So I have those prepped, so we'll see. All right, and I'm gonna get rid of this in a minute. I'm gonna move those things out of the way. And when we look at this, now I couldn't decide if I liked my card like this with the plaid behind it, or a little brighter with the bokeh. And you can let me know what you think, but I'm going to make today's card with the bokeh just because I think it's brighter, and because I'm using the soft sea foam for the backdrop of my tree. I just thought it looked different. I mean, it looked better. So here's a lot of it's getting covered, unfortunately, but I just like the bright on there. All right, so we'll use this for another project another day. All right, let's put that over there so I don't lose that. What I am going to do is affix this down, and I'm trying to decide. My thought process was I want to get this laid down so that it's evenly distributed, but I'm not sure that I want these pieces in there, okay? Because I'm not sure that it's going to get covered, all right? If I put my banner here, it will cover it, but then it also covers part of my tree, so this banner is probably going to go down here. So I want to get rid of these pieces. So what I'm going to do is take my snips, and I'm going to snip this out. And I don't know if this is how it was designed so that they didn't have to use as much metal to make the die, or if there was some other intention. I have no idea. Can't quite get that off, so let's just snip a little from that side. And then we'll take that one off. All right, and that looks pretty good there. So I'm going to put glue on this edge, and we will lay this on our designer series paper. Now I have this cut at 5 and 3/8, I believe, by 4 1/8. So a little bit bigger than a normal layer because I wanted it to actually be behind the tree. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is lay this down and then work to put this on top. So I might get a little gluey, we'll see. But that's one of the benefits of having the multi-purpose glue, is that you have a little bit of time to get yourself situated. And we'll just see if this works. If I have a little overhang, I can always trim it. But that actually worked pretty good. There's a little bit of overhang there, so we'll just trim this a little bit. And I forgot to put glue on that part. That's always something, right? Get that little scrap out of there. So we'll just put a little glue here without hopefully ripping anything. It won't be the whole length of that piece, but it's not going to go anywhere. And then this piece, we're just going to trim just that little bit that's hanging over. Hopefully my head's not in the way. I think I'm all right. There. All right. So that's going to go there. I am going to put this up on dimensionals, I think. And I'm just going to do the corners in the middle because I'm going to have that tree on dimensionals. We're going to do a couple on the sides here. I'm going to have that tree up on dimensionals, and I don't want to have so much bulk that it's coming out and being too thick to go through the mail. So we're just going to put some of these around the perimeter. If you have some adhesive strips handy, which I don't right here, and I didn't want to run away again, but if you have some adhesive strips, that would work as well. So before I go any further, I am going to put this piece in here. And what I'm going to do is use this with no glue as a template. We'll put that in there, and that will help with the placement when we go to put this piece down. And this piece I'm just going to glue all the way. I'm not going to use dimensionals on this piece because then it will get too thick, because then once we get our tree in there, it's going to be too much. So I can probably use just one of these as a guide, because if I have this in here and put that in there, it's going to be good all the way down probably, right? In theory. So we can take that out because there's no glue on that, and look at that. That worked out all right. So with this piece now, actually let's get this other piece taken care of. I'm going to take all of these backings off. Maybe. I might have to peel these. I might have to go to plan B. There's another way I use to get these off sometimes, and that's if I push in the middle of these, you can kind of push that backing up on the edges and peel it off a little easier. My fingers are so dry and cracked because it's been cold and warm and cold and warm, and I don't put hand lotion on probably as often as the lotion manufacturers would like me to. So my fingers get really dry and cracked. So it's hard to use the edge of my fingertips sometimes. Plus I have some neuropathy issues, and sometimes I just can't feel the paper. So having a tool works better for me. All right. Let's put this on our base. So the base is just our standard 8.5 by 5.5. So 8.5, 5.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. I burnished it already with my bone folder. And let's just put this little piece on here. Like so. And that just gives it a little monochromatic border there. All right, so with this, we are going to take our background stamp for the treetop, and I might not have cleaned that off all the way. Most of it's going to get covered, so I'll make sure that I rinse it after. I might not have rinsed this out yesterday after I used it, I don't know. All right, we'll close this so I don't get more inky. And we're just going to do this kind of on top-ish. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm not pressing hard, I'm just pressing evenly. So that gives it a little bit of texture. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, so this is going to get some dimensionals on it eventually. All right, but before we do that, I have, first off, soft seafoam. Cut it out with that die. Move that over to my napkin so I don't lose it. All right, and then I cut out basically the tree trunk that I am going to attach here. All right, now I didn't make a sample, this is in my head, so if it doesn't turn out, well, obviously maybe I shouldn't be trying to be creative at midnight on a day where I got up early. We'll see, hopefully it'll turn out all right. Sometimes I do the card and then I look at it, I thought, oh, well that looks really hokey. And then I look at it later and I'm thinking, wait a minute, I really like that. So we'll see how this turns out. And again, with that liquid glue, I was able to shift it a little bit where I was crooked. All right. And then this is the gnarly tree part. I did use my adhesive sheet, so I put that on there. Now there's all kinds of little bits in here. So I'm hoping that when I peel off my tree part, that the cutout pieces will stay behind if I can get this peeled apart. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? There we go. All right, so let's see if these pieces stay behind. So you can see from the stickum, it's pulling out most of the pieces that I don't want. All right, so there's a few in here, and I want to pull those off before they get stuck where I don't want them to be. All right, so let me get my tweezers. I think that'll work best. So we'll just pull out a few of these pieces. It looks like there's just 4 that went where I didn't want them. A couple little circles. But the nice thing with the adhesive sheets is that you create a sticker. So when it's intricate like this, then when you set it down, you don't have to worry about the liquid glue oozing where you don't want it. All right. But with this, once you press it down, it's pretty well stuck. So try to get it where you want it on the first crack. All right, so that one is a little crooked. That one's a little crooked. All right, so now I can press it down firmly, close enough. So that's a little off, but I might be putting the sentiment near there. We'll see. I might be able to lift this up and shift, but that would mean the whole tree trunk has to shift. There we go. Voila. So this is garbage. This can go over here so I don't lose it. And then we're going to use these. Now, had I been thinking ahead, I would have put my adhesive sheets on there. And I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way because I don't really need that there anymore. It's just a little bit of a distraction, and I don't need that anymore. So let's get rid of the debris. Obviously, I am a messy stamper. Who's messy and who's super neat? I usually have like chaos. All right, so anyway, so these I'm just going to randomly place on my tree somewhere. We'll see how it looks. That can go there, and that there, and that's probably going to be good. Those can just randomly go on there. They don't have to be perfect. I don't think there's a set place for them. They just kind of fit where they fit. And I'm just going to put a few drops. You don't need a lot of glue because a little goes a long way. As Riley says, dot, 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 not a lot. So we'll put that there. We'll put this one over here. Hopefully this video is not going to be too long. I try to keep them short. I really do. And I try to prep certain stuff ahead of time so that you're not wasting your precious time watching me when you could be crafting. I think I've been thinking about doing some mystery stamping where I have a design in mind. Let's see if that stays. Where I have a design in mind, I will give dimensions, and you who are watching can prepare your pieces, and then as we go along, I'll kind of read out the clues. You put your pieces together, I put my pieces together, and we see where they land. I think I'm going to trim this one apart because I can. It'll be fine. I just want it spread out a little bit. All right. So I could have probably put it all in one piece, but some of these others are spread out a little bit more, so we'll try to make it look natural. And this might not even look good when I'm done. We'll see. We will see. All right, so you'll have to tell me who's a messy stamper and who's an organized stamper. And then I am going to use just a little bit of Kleenex here. I've got a little extra glue on there. All right, you can use, if you've got an embossing buddy, you can get rid of some of that stickum by using an embossing buddy. And then that'll get it prepped. If you've got like one of these glue erasers, then you can take some of that off. I would caution you when you've got an intricate design like this, if you're using that, you can rub some of those off. All right, and you don't want to do that. So hopefully those will all stay good. Let's put some dimensionals on here. It's kind of coming together. We'll see how it goes. And again, I'm to the end of my sheet, but these edges are perfectly fine to use because nobody's going to see them underneath everything. We'll go like that, I guess. Let's use those tweezers again. And again, that's just push. I push in the middle or thereabouts, and that kind of releases the edge of the paper, and then I can lift it off a little bit easier than just using my fingernails. So, good there. And let's put this on our tree, or on our card rather. And then the sentiment, again, I'm going to re-stamp this and cut it out again. But these will get glued together, and that will go there. That too will be on dimensionals. But we're just going to use a long one for that, I guess. So I'm going to go ahead and put the dimensionals on here. but I'm not going to glue these together just yet because you'll get the idea in just a second, right? That'll work. So these will go here like so. I just want a little shadow there. So thank you for the little things. And then it needs something because that just seems kind of plain to me. Maybe I'll put some more branches on there. I'll die cut some more of those, maybe in a different color, maybe a darker green. And that might just give it a little more oomph. And we can put a few of these. Hopefully they'll look okay. I'm going to use kind of these neutral-ish ones. And just, oh, there's a little bit of hair on there. Who knows where that came from? We used to have a pug living here, and I still get pug hairs from time to time that I find. So there is that. What do you think? All right. If you think it should be in a different color or some other oomph, you know, I could have probably done the gnarly part of the tree in the early espresso. I was afraid it might have just been too dark. And I could have used the timber embossing folder to do this inner piece. So if I do another version, I might do that and just change up the colors a little bit. But I will post a picture if and when I get that done and see what you think. So that's all I have for you tonight. Happy stamping. Until next time.